Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gamers Hall. He's Adam.
He's Chris.
And now we are going to talk about battle tactics for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah. And the reason we want to talk about this is because, as you can tell, there's lots of people who play online. There's lots of streaming. If you're part of gaming groups or you go to a game store and you watch, there are sometimes people that have very bland battles. Or they're boring, or the battle doesn't seem to go the way you thought it would. And what we want to
players steamroll a combat that you expect it to be difficult.
And what we want to do in this video is we really want to help you guys make those combats richer, not necessarily more difficult, but more maybe more realistic, and make it where a combat isn't just a bunch of rolling dice. It is a chapter in a story. It is definitely something for players to remember, and also it's not just something that people should do. It could be something they look forward to, especially if they're those tactically minded players that have built a character that's really going to shine in combat.
Yeah,
and these are going to help that.
Yeah, because I remember I ran a one shot, and an encounter they had at the very beginning was literally the most difficult encounter the whole time, and I expected the players to completely steamroll it, and they didn't because of the tactics I used. I had a bunch of goblins, and this kind of goes into our second thing that we wanted to talk about, which is I guess we already talked about the first but it's knowing what the NPCs are capable of. So I had a group of goblins, and they were... What level were you guys? Like 7th? 4th
or 5th.
No, because you guys were casting fireballs.
Oh, yeah, that's true. 7th. 7th is what it were. Because I remember because I had a special ability.
So they were 7th level, and I just had a group of like 12 goblins show up. They were taking a long rest in the forest, and I was using hit and run tactics. Like, they'd pop out, shoot arrows, and then they bonus action hide. Some of them would run up and try and shank them, and then bonus action disengage. And because I was using these bonus actions, which, I noticed a lot of people don't use those bonus actions of goblins to hide or to disengage. It really changes what's going to happen in the battle, because I almost killed you guys.
Yeah, you did.
And I was expecting them to completely steamroll it, but it's because I used their bonus action. Yeah. I almost killed you guys with 12 goblins.
So what this goes into is he understood the capabilities of a goblin and what it's basically what it can do and what it can't do. What it can do is it's great at hiding and it's great at coming in and out. What it's not great at doing is standing toe to toe with any fighter.
Yes.
It's also, they're not good in being packed up into a group, because now they're fodder. So what goblins would be good at is
guerrilla warfare
and ambushes. They're not gonna just walk in a line. That's not what they do. They're not there for that. And you need to understand the capabilities of lots of different creatures. Look at their powers. Look at how they would go together. Look at their speed. Are they fast? Are they a fast creature? Are they slow? Do they have any other special things that they're good at, like climbing? A creature that might be good at climbing, you would never expect to jump out. Okay, we're going to put them in trees. They're going to jump down from trees because they're good at climbing. They can get back up really quickly if they need to.
Or for instance, the orcs, they have that aggressor ability, I think is what it's called,
where run at you if they smell blood.
Yeah. They bonus action. They move their speed towards an enemy. Why wouldn't the orcs bonus action run past the fighter and straight towards the spellcaster, because they're afraid of spells more than they are people with weapons?
Yeah. So that is getting into another point we're going to get into, but really on the capabilities part, it's more than what their weapons they have, and it's more than what spells they might use. It's more than what little random abilities they have. It's the full package. Do they have a lot of hit points? Can they take a hit? Well, if they can't take a hit, why would they want to stand in the line of fire? Do they have a high AC? Okay, well then that's fine. They'll just stick in the middle and clog up something.
Yeah, or maybe they're gonna run and get reinforcements because not every battle it has to be to the death.
Right. So let's get into another point. Next point is understanding the knowledge of a creature. We touched on this a little bit. Every creature doesn't want to die.
Right.
Except for mindless creatures. They don't care. They're mindless, right? Now, that doesn't mean that there are some, like, maybe frenzied barbarians that don't care that they die, but most creatures in the real world and in any fiction you ever read, they don't want to die. And it should be frightening when they're okay with death. That's the problem of zombie hordes, is they don't care if they're dead.
They're going to keep coming.
They're going to keep coming. So a creature knows that. A creature knows what it can do and what it can't do. Now, you also have to understand, does the creature understand the player characters? Can it pick out a wizard in a group? Because if it knows that a fireball is a bad thing, then it would go for the wizard.
Right.
If it thinks it's a wizard, which you can play that up. You can have them have misconceptions as well, where you don't have to tell your player characters their misconceptions. In fact, you can write it down. Hey, NPC groups, that all hobgoblins always target the caster type. You can give yourself things that they know or they would do every time they come into a situation.
Yeah. If someone's casting a spell, any spell, it doesn't matter what it is, they immediately go for them.
Right. And that is a bit of their knowledge that sets up their tactics. Because if they have preconceived notions, preconceived tactics, then they will always do it. I remember when we ran a campaign that we had no DM, and we built a system where the monsters will have certain cues and prejudices against certain things, and they would go for that target. So nobody had to DM it. We all got to play, and the monsters would kind of run themselves. It works somewhat, but it's definitely something you can carry over into your tactics.
Oh, absolutely.
Wolves, their knowledge is they're better in a pack. Well, they know that if they can catch you unaware, they will get you. So that's why you have wolf pack tactics, where you might see one, but you don't see the two in the back coming for you.
Yep, and also, they're never grouped up.
No,
you won't see them grouped up. That's why they surround a target, then they go in. Mm-hmm. If they're grouped up, it's because they're attacking something at the same time.
And also, most creatures know the land they're in. They understand what they have to deal with. Is there a cliff nearby? Is there trees? Is there running water? Is there a poisonous bog? Is there another owlbear cave nearby? They understand where they're at. That is knowledge that they have, that a DM should always keep in mind. This is their home territory most of the time. 90% of the time, you are on the creature's home turf, not somebody else's. They are here first. They know, so they're going to use that to their advantage. And that's also one way that you're going to make a group of goblins that should get wiped out by a bunch of 7th level characters almost kill them, because this is their spot. They know where to hide. They know what to be at. They know where you're going to be at the biggest disadvantage.
Right.
So knowledge is a huge deal. Make sure you write some stuff down. Read some lore about the creatures, especially if you're going to run a campaign that's all zombies or undead campaign or all wilderness campaign. You need to understand what these things would possibly know.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes you've got a grunt goblin or a grunt orc that's just going to run and attack whoever. Mm-hmm. But maybe you put it out and it's like, okay, so the grunt goblins do this. Well, if they have a leader or a captain, maybe the captain is the one that tells them what to do. It's like, hey, no, go after the caster. Mm-hmm. So like it makes it a little more believable why they're doing things that they wouldn't normally do.
Mm-hmm. And it's also okay to make some of their tactics obvious. There are lots of people, or there's lots of armies in the world and through history, their tactics are blatantly obvious on the battlefield.
You've got a spellcaster in the back, and there's two orcs with dual shields, and they just hide in front of that caster, and the caster will pop out, and bam! It's like, oh, we know what that guy's about to do.
And that that's very helpful to make fun combats. Is to, they have a knowledge of themselves, what their people will do, just like the party do themselves. They know what all of them are capable of. So do all the monsters. So do all the creatures and NPCs. They know what their friends are capable of as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, in that, you don't always have to go by the book. It's okay to take a template of something and give it to a different creature. And Adam's done this many times and thrown us like for loops when he basically took a druid from the monster manual and was like, okay, I'm just going to turn him into a goblin. And we're like, goblin. Did he just cast Tangle on us? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Didn't expect it. Because that's the beauty of knowledge and understanding. Players don't know.
Yeah.
I do. I know what these things are capable of. So changing a few things here or there creates misconceptions with the group. And that's one of the greatest tactics you could have, is if your enemy doesn't understand what you're doing, you have the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, when you see an orc with a great axe, it's one thing. But then when you're describing, oh, hey, there's another orc over here, and he's got those two big shields, and you're like, what's he doing? And all you do was take the Iron Defender and move and turn him into an orc.
Yeah, there's lots of things you can mess with and pull things from other pieces and say, well, this thing has a weird eye that pops up, and now it shoots a little beholder eye or something. Lots of little extra bits that will spice up and help form the tactics that these creatures are going to use.
So the next point is going to be battlefield placement and setup.
Right. So this also encompasses the size of a battlefield. Is this going to take up a small 40 by 40 room, or is this going to take up 17 different rooms that this one goblin has the ability to run to and get reinforcements?
Yeah.
The battlefield is not always what you see. The battlefield is everything around it and what could be, right? Oh, yeah. So do the creatures ambush, or the creatures just blatantly waiting and not going to ambush? Are they ambushed? How do they react? What is their first response? Do they have a bell to ring when something comes to the gate? Do they fire first and ask questions later? Are they willing to talk to you? Because that's a tactic in battle too. Not every battle has to end with somebody being dead. There's lots of battles that end with people being captured. So you not being dead is much better than me having to bury a corpse.
Yeah, because I mean, what's the party going to do when a group of goblins come in and start attacking, and then the last, like they let's say there were 6 of them. The group has killed 4, and the last 2 immediately drop their weapons and are like, "We surrender."
Mm-hmm. And this helps with this is knowledge. You use the knowledge to start the placement of the battle, right? So you would be able to set up going, okay, they're going to be in this line on the battlefield, or explain it to them if you don't use maps. You'll see that wizard in the back, or you'll see somebody in flowing robes in the back. What you don't see is the 2 roguish guys that are hiding over to the side. And you don't have to tell them about that, but because these guys knew they were coming, they're prepared for the fight. They've already got set up, and then you're gonna make it be more realistic.
Yeah.
It's not always drop some models on a mat. You guys place your people. Let's roll some dice. No, there's way more to where they're going to be and where they're going to want to go, as well. Because you probably want them to be in an advantage or in a disadvantage if the players have played it smart. Which that's another thing about Battlefield Advantage in tactics is allowing the players to also get into a advantageous position to get them, and how do those creatures react from this new placement, from this new battlefield? Will they all run? They don't want to die.
Yeah.
Or do they know they have to stand and fight, so they're willing to do something drastic and fatalistic for themselves to end it?
Yeah.
So understanding the battlefield size can matter, and also allowing the players to know that the battlefield can change is very important too.
Right.
So they would know to expect you adding more tiles if you're using dungeon tiles to the map, to the table. They would be, okay, well, we've run into lots of things that can run away, that will run away. We need to kill them fast, or we need to trap them or do something.
Right.
Before they get something else. So everybody needs to understand the size of the battle, where it's going to take place.
Yeah. Are we in a tavern? If we're in a tavern, then this entire tavern is our battlefield. Can things come in and leave? Yes.
Yes. It is definitely a possibility and should be part of the tactics of this battle. Because what shows up? Do the guards show up? How do the creatures react to that? Do they also attack the guards? Mm-hmm. Or do they say, nope, too many, run? Or, hey, those are my allies. Okay, so we want to talk about a few realistic tactics that creatures would actually use and in battles on a regular basis. Like a classic one is the pincer move. Pincer tactic, where something comes from this direction, something comes from that direction. That is a tactic wolves use when hunting. You see the one in front, you don't see the two in back. So the one in front draws them in, the two in back attack them.
Yeah.
That is one classic battlefield tactic.
Mm-hmm. And then, flanking.
Right.
Flanking, like not the flanking as in like the rules, getting advantage, but actual like outflanking the characters. You have a group of NPCs attacking from this side and a group attacking from this side, so it makes it hard for the characters to run away. They actually have to deal with what they're dealing with.
Pulls them in. You have a box tactic where you literally come and you move around the party and surround the enemy to where they can't leave. There's the old turtle shell defense when you use flanks, where you would actually the shields would build around something and then create a kill zone that people can't leave. That also goes with flanks tactics. Hobgoblins use that. In fact, they're literally built to use a flank tactic with their shield mates, where they would, if you're near another one, they give each other AC. So building a flanks, that's a pre-built-in tactic that they'll come and they'll also do a spearhead move, where you got the front one, you got the two next to them, they'll go forward, creating very few gaps and protection for all.
Yeah, and then you got your classic bait and switch. Another creature or person is going to come up and do its thing, but then they try and run away, and now you're dealing with something different when you catch back up to them.
Something more dangerous, or something that can end the fight, or end this person will switch in. Weak person pulls, lures, and then strong person finishes.
The goblin boss is built for this, because he'll come in and start attacking, and when you go to attack him, he's like, ha, bam, no, you hit one of my
totally
peons.
Reverse of weak versus strong, but here, you take him, you kill him.
Yeah.
And then you have like horde mentality. Horde, that is a tactic. Zombie horde is you have a lich in the back, and he just pushes as much stuff forward. Just go. Every bit of it. It doesn't matter if it's dead. I'm going to wear all of you down through horde tactics, and then just kill you when you're weak.
Yeah.
And then you have the other side of the horde, which is maybe a bunch of berserkers. That is quick. Well, it's more of a lightning attack. It's quick, it's brutal, and is much damage you can put in one single round as possible, which most players try to do. Is that lightning attack, that hit, boom, dead. But a barbarian horde would use this. That first initial shock into a battle is where all that damage hits.
Mm-hmm.
Orcs tend to do something like this.
Or what if, I don't remember actually what it's called, but it's the one where you literally like it's like hit and run tactics, but you just do it continuously over and over just to wear the party's resources down. Mm-hmm. So like a group will come in, attack, immediately run away, because usually on the first round the players are blowing their loads. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, they blew their load, run away, and then before they can take a long or short rest, they'll come back and do it again.
A Fey Pack Warlock that uses the Misty Step to get away. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to come in and do my little thing on you. Disappear. Go hide behind there. Do it again. Disappear. Go, just over and over. Over and over. And then every time the players are like, stop doing it. Well, that's a tactic that they would use, that they know they have, and they would continually come in and out, in and out, in and out until they're dead. Well, hopefully they're dead, or you've annoyed your players enough if they figure it out. You have bombardment. There's creatures that they don't want to be anywhere near you. Why would they do that?
It's all hit and run, and just stay stay the maximum length away to where they can still attack.
I mean, you have the Beholder is a perfect example of bombardment. Tons of rays. It doesn't want to be anywhere near, and if it does come near, it's going to use its eye to stop your magic, but it's going to shoot from afar, and then it's going to go up and down. It's going to use its battlefield advantage. This Beholder is an extremely tactical creature. Beholder should never fight one on the same level as somebody else. Which is another thing we need to talk about as well. But vertical matters in tactics, because creatures that can fly will use that to their advantage. So you also have dive bombs, griffins, peritons, giant eagles, giant owls. They're going to come in. Dragons, they're going to come in, hit, and get out of range. Hit,
fly
get
by.
Out of range. Fly-by attacks as a major tactic that a lot of people don't tend to use with flying creatures. And the biggest disadvantage all player characters have in D&D is whether they can fly or not. Flying creatures are some of the nastier creatures in the game.
I want to say mobility in general, though. When you take away a creature's mobility, it suddenly hinders them a lot. Like, okay, you got the barbarian raging, running towards you. What happens when enemy caster says levitate, sends him up in the air? He can't move forward, backwards. The caster just lifts him up in the air. It's like, all right, everybody, pop shot, take him down,
get him. That's a perfect tactic. Or just the hold person. Nope, you stop right there, no further. Also, creatures would use the tactic of baiting somebody into a pit trap. They know that pit trap's there, and they would go, okay, you fall into this. Well, your mobility is hindered by the fact you just fell. Now you have to climb. Now they have spears stabbing you while you try to climb. Or throwing rocks down or whatever. There's lots of tactics that all these creatures will use, and they should use. No fight. If you have 5 fights in a session, and every single fight has different creatures in it, there should be no reason why every single one of those fights is the same.
Yeah.
No creature fights the same. They all are different. They all would be in a different placement. They would all have different knowledge of what has happened. Especially if they knew that those players killed that group first. Well, if that group knows that that's coming, they're going to fight different.
Completely.
So there is a long form tactic as well to this. We're about to get this. Bosses use another type of tactic of how much stuff can you get through to get to me.
Yeah. But if you guys like the content we're putting out, please like, share, and subscribe.
And hit that little bell so you know when we drop some more videos for you.
All right. Until then, guys, keep rolling them Nat 15s.